Hi guys, welcome back to the Forgetful Scholar, and this week we're going to chat about books. 2 books this week, look at me. So the books contemporary romance and historical cozy mystery. So I'm going to talk about the historical cozy mystery first. It's Death Around the Bend, a Lady Hardcastle Mystery, Book 3 by T.E. Kinsey, and it was published 2027, and it's 317 pages. This is a 2-star. I was disappointed too. And sorry if I'm kind of low energy today. It's just one of those days that I am not doing well. So I'm trying to like force it. So I'm sorry if that comes across, but it's just one of those really bad chronic illness days. So so yes, this was 2 stars, and so far the 2 other Hardcastle books I really enjoyed. Now this is a historical cozy mystery. Now this one, it took a long time to figure out what I was going to score it as, because I even made a note, 20% in, nothing's happening. 30% in, finally something happened. So this is a murder mystery. And the thing of it, like, the pacing is so different than the other 2 books, and it just felt like it was dragging on and nothing was happening. For, like I said, 20 to 30% of the book, nothing happens, and then, hey, look, a murder, right? Now for mysteries, I have a certain criteria that I grade it by, right? So were there enough clues throughout the story so the reader could kind of guess along with the amateur sleuths? I will say not really. The clues were okay. So the clue with an old photograph, very obviously a major clue, and I liked that was emphasized. I liked how it was emphasized. Did it come back to like this, because there's more than one murdered person, so did it come back to the second victim really cleanly on the page? Not really, I don't think it did. And did it have a good clues for who the killer was so you could guess along? I would also say not really. It kind of jumped quite a bit, which is unusual for this writer. First 2 books I loved, so that was a little unusual. We do get to meet, so these stories focus around Lady Hardcastle and her maid Flo, and they're kind of a Sherlock Holmes Watson kind of duo. I love their banter, and their banter was so good in this story, just like always. Very fun, very quippy. They obviously have a tremendous friendship, and I really love them. I think the only reason I didn't DNF this book was because of Hardcastle and Flo and their friendship. And I really do love their friendship. But at 30% of a 300-page book, I was like, well, when's the murder gonna happen? And I know how that makes me sound bloodthirsty, but I am. So, yeah, there's no excuse. I just am. So, so this one had to do with car racing. Fine. There's a lot of interesting facts about car racing in like 1800s. If you're interested in that, not 1800s, 1900s, in the past, if in England, if you're interested in that, I'm not really, so it didn't kind of grab my attention. And usually I enjoy historical little tidbits like that. There's just, the pacing was off, you know. Even after the first person was murdered, it still felt kind of slow because there was so much like, oh, it was an accident. But then it showed basically 2 paragraphs later it wasn't. And it was just kind of, the pacing was just off from the first 2. I remember the first 2 being a little fast paced, a little more quippy, a little bit more fun. This one just dragged a little for me. You know, we do get to meet Lady Hardcastle's brother, Harry, which I enjoyed. We get to know more about Flo's past because she grew up in the circus and how she ended up being Hardcastle's maid, which I liked that a lot. So there was points that I really liked, but they didn't really, unfortunately, have to do with the mystery at hand. And for a mystery that's kind of, you know, Flo, unequivocal badass. The confrontation was on the page, which I love. we get to see Flo's knife throwing techniques, which is really cool, because the first 2 books we saw her like physically defend Lady Hardcastle and beat people up, because she at one point, her and Lady Hardcastle were fleeing from, I think, the German government, and they ended up in Shanghai or China, and some monks taught Flo kung fu, which is cool, but also those are like tidbits we get, just like reminiscence. Like we're not in those stories. Like this happened before the series even started, which gives a little bit of charm to Hardcastle and Flo. But sometimes I'm like, oh, I really want to read that story. And there is something that I noticed this author does a lot. You know, it would be like, oh, you, and he laughs, you know, or with a laugh. And sometimes I felt that was in weird places, because I'm like, they were just informed of that it wasn't an accident, it was murder. What do you mean he like laughs? Oh, you. Like some of it was a little off, and I don't remember picking that up in the other 2 books. So I think this one for me, it's kind of in the Hardcastle series. Am I still going to continue? Of course. I talked many times on this channel how your favorite authors, it doesn't, just because you love an author doesn't mean they don't have books that are kind of every once in a while, and that's fine. You know what I mean? That's just the way it goes. So am I going to continue the series? Yes. Am I pretty disappointed this was a 2-star? Yes. Especially considering I usually give so many points for like a confrontation on the page, and a very fun confrontation at that, and it was very fun. It's just I don't feel like the mystery had enough clues for us, the audience, to follow, and the bad guy was kind of, I wouldn't say out of nowhere, because they're there throughout the book, as usual in Hardcastle mystery so far, but there was really nothing kind of incriminating to them until like the very end, which that always bugs me. Again, I love Flo and Hardcastle's banter. I love their friendship. If you want to read a book where a phenomenal female friendship and banter exists, definitely, I don't think you could go wrong with a Hardcastle book. The first 2, I loved their mysteries. This one was just, I think the pacing was off. I think you could have taken out like a good 60 pages, and I think it would have flowed a little bit better personally. So this was a 2 for me. Disappointed. I'm still going to continue reading the series though, because again, I just love Hardcastle and Flo. And if it wasn't mysteries, then I would have no problem reading. But since it, you guys get it. I don't want to run this subject to the ground, but you guys get it. Okay, so the second one is a contemporary romance, and it's The Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood. It's published 2021 and 352 pages. I got this book in the Barnes and Nobles / Waterstones after Christmas sale, so it was like 40% off. It has an extra bonus chapter, which you guys know I don't really like that, but I think this bonus chapter was done well, because it's sort of, so the main characters are Olive and Adam, and the bonus chapter is their night together from Adam's point of view, and you get how much he like has yearned for her and stuff like that. So I thought that was a good way to handle it. So like I said, this is about Adam and Olive, and this is, I think we all know, this is Raylo fanfics with the serial numbers filed off, and I think the serial numbers were filed off really well. I liked the kind of jabby jokes here and there throughout it. I thought it was a lot funnier than I was expecting, because every time someone 4.5 stars. The only reason it's not 5 stars, even though I really enjoyed myself, is that like I don't know if it's something I would reread, right? Like, because for me 5 stars is I love it, I know I'm gonna reread it, and it's something that I would loan to someone to get them interested in that specific genre, right? So it hits all those points, except I'm not sure if I would reread it, So that's why it's a 4.5 for me, personally. Yes, this is Raylo fanfics with the serial numbers filed off. It's a lot funnier than I thought. Every time someone described this book It seemed so serious and kind of grad school hellish that I didn't want to touch it. No one ever described to me Olive and her personality. And I think I mentioned this before. She is a well-meaning, unintentional chaos monster, and I love her. She's definitely one of my favorite female characters, period. I love her so much. She's so smart and so dumb at the same time. And it doesn't like... the decisions she makes are chaotic and ridiculous, but like I'm not like rolling my eyes like, oh, of course they had to do that for the plot, or that's not within her character. No, she's very smart, science wise, but emotionally, when her emotions are engaged, she tends to panic and like gets flustered and just chooses like just impulsive last minute decisions that don't work out or maybe do work out so well, considering. But it's so fun to watch because, yeah, people are complicated. Just because you're good at math or science doesn't mean you don't make stupid choices when your emotions are engaged, right? So I did have fun, and I like the little Star Wars references here and there, kind of a nod to its beginnings. I understand why people love Ali Hazelwood. Like, I get it. Her writing is fun, easy, but there's just this, I don't know, I don't know how to describe it. Like, her writing makes me feel like I'm listening to one of my friends tell a story, if that makes sense. There's a comfort to it, and I'm not sure how she hits those notes, but yeah, I enjoyed it. And there's a lot more humor in it than you would think, right? So Olive is a grad student or a PhD candidate student for STEM. She's I forget exactly what it is, because I was in the humanities, not the STEM, so so she is working on early detection biomarkers to detect stage 1 pancreatic cancer, because, you know, sad backstory, right? So she's very brilliant, but she's also, you know, wears expired contacts 2 years after your expiration date because she's a poor grad student. She panics and kisses a complete stranger, so her best friend will go out with her ex-boyfriend. So that's the premise. So her best friend, and also a great example of friendship and female friendship. I loved the friendship between Anne and Malcolm and Olive. It was lovely. And it felt very realistic, which is nice. Like, it didn't feel like this, oh, far off, like, oh, that's such a nice friendship. That's kind of not like, it felt very grounded in substance, you know, in reality. I'm having a rough day, sorry. If only my brain would work, that would be lovely. Be nice, you know. Anyway, so Olive dated this guy Jeremy for a couple times. She didn't really vibe with him. They broke up, and her best friend really likes him, and they're a really good match. So Olive says, oh no, I have a date, you guys go out, because she wants them to go out, but her friend is like, no, against girl code, whatever. So instead of going on a fake date, because she didn't have a date, she goes to the lab to work, and she sees her best friend coming down the hallway. She panics and grabs and kisses the first person she sees. That happens to be Adam, who is a professor and a doctor and a huge hotshot, like, you know, a big scientist, famous scientist, a pioneer, you know, and and he's like, okay, and she's like, we have to fake date, and he's like, and at first I was like, wow, he's really agreeing to fake dating, you know, pretty easily. And fake dating is one of the tropes I do enjoy, and this is definitely Grumpy Sunshine, which you guys know I love. So this hit 2 tropes I really liked, so I was enjoying myself. I will say the third act conflict was too real. Like, it was too real. I had to take a moment, step back, and like, oh gosh, this is giving me some flashbacks. And I was like, damn, she okay. My personality, especially like late teens, all through my 20s, will probably be described as a Tasmanian devil on meth. Now, you know, when I'm myself, I would probably describe myself as probably a feral chihuahua coming off of anesthesia, you know. I'm ready to go, but I don't know where I am, you know what I mean? But so the third eye conflict, I had to step away and like go punch something because it just reminded me. And yeah, I do mean punch something because it just reminded me a little too much. And man, she handled it different because I just pepper sprayed. Anyway, so the third act conflict like got me. I was like, oh girl, flashbacks. But she handled it a lot classier than I did. I did see how she how she was able to resolve it. I was like, oh, of course. I knew from the beginning that's how it was going to go, but I didn't mind that I already know that's how it was going to go because it's romance. It was more focused on the connection between the two couples, and I liked it. And it felt a very like slow burn, sweet romance. They're slowly getting to know each other, Olive's slowly falling for him, and we're in Olive's point of view the whole time. And I enjoyed being in this chaotic chaos goblin's head quite a bit. And it made perfect sense why she was such a brilliant scientist and then so chaotic with her emotions, because that happens a lot, you know. If you really have like a high emotional IQ, you tend to, you know, like if you have a high IQ, sometimes your emotional IQ is not as high for various reasons, and that's fine. So it felt really realistic to me. The moment the bad guy came on, I was like, okay, I don't like this guy at all. I'm trying to like, you know, because it's not a new book, but it's not an old one. And if you haven't given it a try, because like me, maybe you heard people talking about it and it sounded a little dry, a little boring, I will say no. The humor in it, I love it. The slow burn, soft falling in love was very sweet. I will say I like a lot more angst and yearning in my romance novels, and I don't think that was quite there. Like I felt that from the bonus chapter of Adam's point of view. So, you know, take that as you will. But I liked the friendships. I liked the soft falling in love with Adam. Even though I liked the grumpy sunshine, I liked the fake dating. I liked that she kept getting put into these ridiculous positions. And like, to tell you the truth, Jeremy, her ex, who's dating her best friend, not that great. Because the moment the best friend's like, hey, she's dating Adam, so we could go on a date, he like told the whole doctorate program, like all the students, and I was like, bitch, excuse you? Well, I would have been so mad. I wouldn't have just blown that off. I would have been like, you... I probably would have pepper sprayed him too, honestly, especially at like that age. Yeah, probably. I know people don't expect it because I'm like 5'4" nothing, but like I don't know, man. I was born pissed. I don't know what to tell you. I don't even know why I'm sharing this, but here I am sharing this with you. It's really weird, random stuff that you don't need to know. Anyway, I had a blast. So it's just not 5 stars because I don't know if I would reread it. That's the only thing. I did enjoy it quite a bit. And it's not dry. It's not I would say it's predictable, but most romances are, let's be honest. Especially if you're like me and that's your primary genre you read in. But the humor got me a couple times. The friendship was lovely. I liked the slow burn of them. Well, honestly, Olive falling for Adam because he kind of liked her before they did the fake dating thing. I liked that it was real academia moments, like real... It kind of reminded me why I got so frustrated with that show Big Bang Theory and stopped watching it, because it was like people who had no idea how the academia world, like grad students and doctoral candidates work, and they just threw something together. This obviously I know Hazelwood is a doctor, in some very fancy STEM department that I can't even pronounce. Again, humanities, so anthro, not no math, please. So I did like that there had like moments. I was like, oh my god, yeah, that's so true, you know, kind of moments. So I like that. And it's really rare for me to like contemporary romance, but here we are. I should stop saying that because I feel like lately I've hit on some really great authors in contemporary romance that I'm enjoying quite a bit. So I'm gonna stop saying it's usually not for me, because apparently I was just picking the wrong authors, and that happens too. You know, that happens sometimes too. So I'm gonna go probably fall face first onto the couch and not move for a couple hours. I hope you guys have a great day. I have to get back to the real world. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.